What is the best sound in the world? What color are tennis balls? How many consecutive times can you use a towel? Besides expensive haircuts and the NBA playoffs, the guys need help living life. All that and more this week on Just Press Play.
How many losing seasons does Tom Brady have to have before you can fire him? Well, he's got to have one. He's about to win the MVP. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's not an unnecessary roughness. It was a completely necessary roughness. I mean, it's a good point. The man rushed for 170 yards is what he got credit for, but he walked and ran a total of like 300 yards. As soon as it came out of my face, I knew how dumb that was.
All right, and we are back. It's me, El, and Pops. We're here with the JPP pod. It's another week. It's Sunday, guys. We're recording this as of Sunday, post Cinco de Mayo. I don't know if y'all did any big Cinco de Mayo plans, but
I had a hamburger.
That was
it was a hamburger for Cinco de Mayo.
It was a big celebration. Did you realize I was talking to someone at work that in Mexico this Cinco de Mayo is just another day. It's just there's not like a big celebration for it at all.
Yeah. I mean, we have a huge Mexican population in this neighborhood, and it's like Mexican Independence Day. Oh man, like you can't go anywhere without hearing like cars with Mexican flags like waving and horns honking and fireworks going off. But Cinco de Mayo, there was like nothing going on. It was just like a real
wasn't Cinco de Mayo just it was a big war they won, right? It was the
I even think it might just be a battle
Mexico.
That they won or something like that. It's
a
like
battle? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a relatively small thing compared to like what we assume it is. Because I always thought it was independence, but it's totally not.
Me too. And I thought it was this huge holiday for Mexico, and then I realized Mexican, down in Mexico, they're just like, oh, it's the 5th of May. Cool. Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
They probably roll their eyes just like they do when we go, May the 4th be with you on the day before. So with that being said, how about we go ahead and get to it? Dad, do you have a best of the week?
In fact, I do have a best of the week, and it is, and you guys can see a little bit. I'm in my new recording studio. Tammy fixed it up. I got my own little room here. Great. I got a ceiling fan blowing down. I got some album covers behind me. I got a little couch.
I'm looking at some of those album covers. Is that Michael Jackson up there?
I see Michael Jackson at Fleetwood Mac, Eagles.
That's Michael Jackson off the wall, too.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
No, those top 3 albums I see are fantastic albums.
I think 2 of those are the top 3 most sold albums of all time. Do y'all know I'm sure you're right. Is that I know one of Michael Jackson's is number 1. Is that the album that is number 1?
It might be Bad.
No,
it's probably
I don't
bad.
think. I think it's probably Bad or Thriller.
It's probably Thriller.
Probably Thriller.
I think it was Thriller. Okay.
Fleetwood Mac Rumors for a while was certainly
it's like 4 or 5. I was looking at this earlier the other day.
It's a top 10 record for me personally. It's spectacular.
And then
it's spectacular.
Number 2, I think 2 or 3, I can't remember, but it was. Does it count if a Greatest Hits is one of the top selling albums?
No,
because the Eagles' Greatest Hits was like number 2 or 3.
I mean,
great. That particular one is a fantastic Greatest Hits. It's probably their first one. But the one right next to it is, I still say maybe the best album of all time. Eagles Hotel California, front to back. There is just not a bad note on it. It's perhaps the best album of all time.
Well, we'll dive deeper into the music in a little bit, but I like your setup back there, Dad. It looks it's pretty fresh.
I do too. Shout out to Tammy. Thank you, girl. It looks wonderful.
She killed it.
She did her thing.
The decor is fantastic.
El,
fantastic.
Do you have a best of the week?
Shepherd's pie egg rolls at O'Shaughnessy's.
Did we have those? Did we have those at one time? Yes, those were good.
They're for the listeners at home that don't live in Chicago. It's like they're egg rolls, but they're filled with like beef and carrots and peas, and you dip them in the best mashed potatoes and cover them in gravy. Like they're just legit. So I had that yesterday.
Is anything about? I'm hungry now.
I'm still happy about it.
Joe,
didn't we go over there to O'Shaughnessy's at like 11? We had our breakfast of champions. We had some egg rolls and a Guinness stout.
Yes, we did. with the nitro tap or whatever. Yep. We had the breakfast Guinness.
I'm ready for another Chicago trip, man.
Me too. I'm ready.
Hey, I think one might be coming up. Yeah.
Yep.
I do think one's in the future.
What's your best?
Yeah, my best of the week is going to be LJ. I'm pretty sure me and you just talked a little. I knew you had probably seen, but Dad, I don't know if you have seen it. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover dropped. My best is just going to be Donald Glover. The dude is so talented. Yeah. Like, hands down, one of the most talented people, I think, out there. But he just came out with a new song, Dad, called "This Is America," and the video of it. I'm gonna put it. We'll put it in the show notes because LJ is with me. I can't stop watching it. I think I've seen it like 5 times since they put it out.
The more I see, the more I'm like looking in the background and trying to catch like everything going on. There's metaphors on metaphors on metaphors, and it's
so cool, Dad. The song, it like starts out with a really like a happy beat, and it's a cool little melody, and it's like the song saying like, I just want to party, I just want to dance and all this stuff. But then like a guy gets shot, and then all of a sudden Childish Gambino and like a group of school children are dancing to like real popular dances that go on that have went on social media. And you hear that they're like dancing all this stuff with this happy sound, but in the background, I mean, it's just utter chaos behind them. And it's kind of like That's America. We're blinded by all the social media hoopla and the popular dances when shootings,
pop culture,
beatings, it's just
problems. Yeah,
it's just like LJ saying. Every time you watch the video, he's a genius. The song's just a cool song, and then if you listen to what he's saying and then what's going on, it's a cool thing to me. It's when you're listening to songs. It's kind of like that one. You better outrun my gun.
Pumped Up Kicks.
Pump Up.
It's one of those. It's one of those where if you just listen to the song, I love it when a song is like the tune is so happy and all this stuff, and then if you really listen to it. There's a meaning behind it. And then in the video, it's even more so because you listen to the song, but then, and you see him dancing and stuff, but the background's the chaos and different stuff. He's
a fantastic actor too. Like the way he's like his facial tics while he's doing it's so good. The other thing I wanted to, if you're going to bring up Childish Gambino, I wanted to mention that, the Saturday Night Live performance he did, bomb song. Like it was so good. The guitar player sitting right next to him, that's my boy Ludwig that did the, Black Panther soundtrack. So,
really? Okay. Yeah. So I didn't see all of his Saturday Night. That was part of my best too. Was just he was also on Saturday Night. It was a good weekend to be Donald Glover, Dad. Is what it sounds like. Yeah. But he was also on Saturday Night Live yesterday, and hilarious. He had a skit where they were playing. It was about Kanye West, and they're like, it's a play off a movie or something. But they're in the woods and they're supposed to be really quiet because if the creatures can't see them, but they can hear them.
Sure.
And Donald Glover's on his phone and they're like, be really quiet. And he goes, holy shit, did you see what Kanye just tweeted? And then they're like trying to be quiet. And like people keep getting killed because they're trying to be quiet. But then he's like, but no, he's wearing the MAGA hat and it's signed. And then a guy like says, what the? And then he gets ripped off by one. It's just hilarious. And then they had a skit. Actually, one of the skits got cut and it was called like, the other guys on Cleveland, and it was about like all these random people wearing Cavaliers jerseys. It was like, I'm a really good pick and roll guy. I pick up LeBron's dry clean and roll over to his crib. And it was hilarious. It was just like, basically, we're just the other guys and LeBron is LeBron. The whole show was hilarious. Donald Glover's funny.
Well, I'm looking at I know him from somewhere else. Where have I seen Donald Glover?
Have you watched Atlanta?
No, and is that good? I've heard good things about it.
Great, yeah.
And he's from Community. He also got to start on like internet comedy, so chances are somewhere you've seen a YouTube video of him.
He looks very familiar.
Goofy. Yeah. He wrote for 30 Rock. He's been around. He's like one of the most talented individuals in the world.
I think that's what LJ's right. What makes his videos even better or so cool is he's musically he's really talented, and he's actor, and he can he just puts it all together. And LJ, I think you're the one that showed me him. Like, I don't know what
Freaks and Geeks. Probably
the more I see him, the more I like him, and he's so diverse. He changes up. I mean, it's just so different with him.
You know what? Is it Sober? The music video for that? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Where he's dancing in the diner. Oh my god, that's maybe my favorite video of his. But
he's cool, Dad. You should check him out.
I will.
I think you'd like.
I'll check him out.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go with I'm gonna just like a snake draft here, and I'll go with my worst.
All right.
Okay.
It's got to be. There was no other thing I could think of. Besides, once I saw Boston Bruins Brad Marchand the other day. Did y'all see the video where
Yeah.
It's a hockey game and they're getting into it. And, you know, it's kind of like it's the typical we're going to get in each other's face. And in the NBA, it's where you're asking for a teammate to pull you back. You want someone to make it look like y'all are tough. But in hockey, they really will, you know, throw the gloves off and start throwing down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're right in each other's face. They're way too close for comfort. And to illustrate how close they are, Brad Marchand sticks his tongue out and licks another man on the face. The TV was on mute when I saw it on SportsCenter, and I was flabbergasted. I didn't even unmute it for like 5 seconds. I was just like, what just happened? And it's not the first time that Marchland's done this. This is a recurring theme.
Oh man.
He had to be asked by the NHL to keep his tongue to himself. You should never be asked to keep your tongue to yourself while playing.
An adult, should never hear that phrase.
Adult sport. Yeah, no.
What would you do if a dude licked you on the face?
If I'm in hockey, I'm throwing a punch because
well,
if I'm in hockey, I'm already much more of a badass than I am in real life.
Like, so you're asking if somebody did that to me on the train or something, that'd probably be the same response.
Well, if someone licked me on the train, I'd probably go sterilize myself, and especially in Chicago.
Fair,
it was gross. It was nasty.
It's a good way to get into somebody's head, though. That's probably better than, what was it, Lance Stevenson blowing on LeBron's ear or something like that.
True. I do miss seeing Lance Stevenson in the playoffs. His antics were great. But so I looked up more about Marchland, and apparently, like a couple years ago, he started this thing where, and it's typical when they get in each other's face, and he like kissed someone before, and like on the cheek or on the nose, like he would kiss them, and then it's changed to this pat. This is the second time this playoffs he licked someone, and the NHL said they did not contact him after the first one, but now they told ESPN that they did contact Marchand and they did ask him, would you please quit licking people? Because this does not need to be happening on the ice.
I'd rather a dude kiss me than lick me. I mean,
I agree with that.
I agree. I'd rather neither, 100%. But why the heck are you putting your tongue on me? Also, real quick question for you guys, and I don't know if y'all know the answer to this, so real quick, explain it to Kevin. How does the courts that are playing, that have NBA games and NHL playoff games, how do they do the ice and the court?
They must elevate the basketball floor, I would guess.
Maybe. I actually have no idea. I had never thought about that.
Like the Stars and the Mavericks play at the same court.
I bet John Payne knows. I bet John Payne knows.
Our NHL affiliate.
We've got to have him on sometime pretty soon, I think, with the Stanley Cup coming. Anyway.
Yeah.
He'll know.
I just want, okay, so the court has to be elevated above it, but you still, like, it's ice, so it's got to be cold. Like, you got to keep it cold, right? It blows my mind. It's one of those things that just makes my brain just go, just blows up.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, no, I think they've got cooling, like, I don't know if it's Freon, but they have cooling tubes that go through the ice. So it's not like you can go see hockey and you don't have to wear your parka in there. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but the ice is cold enough that it would permeate up into the floor, right? Don't you think?
It can. That's why it has to be somewhat elevated. I know they've put some floors directly over ice, and then you get sweating and condensation, and that won't work.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
And
then I wonder if that changes the court or ice. Like, how does it affect the game? Like, are arenas that are just hockey arenas? Are they better, worse? Are basketball arenas that are just court? I don't know.
That's a good question. I'll do some research. I'm into it. Totally
all right. Cool. Well, there will be an answer to that. Explain it to Kevin next week. But
for sure. For sure.
LJ, since we're sticking to the snake draft, we'll let Dad go last. Do you have a worst of the week?
Well, I'm pointing a finger at myself. I just found out that my checking account has a spending limit. And first off, I think that's dumb. If I've got the money in my account, like, let me use it. But
I agreed.
I was booking flights and hotels and stuff for the honeymoon, and I'm like trying to get this hotel. I mean, it's not last minute, but it's not far off, and I don't want somebody else to get it, and it's just not going through. I tried like 6-7 times. I called somebody, tried to get them to do it. They couldn't do it. I finally called the bank, and they're like, "Oh, you just spent too much money today. No big deal." Like, well,
you've just been dropping too many stacks today. That's all you've been doing.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, but seriously, you need to take them to take. That's probably a fraud watch thing or something. And
no. I called them. And they were like, we didn't stop it for any reason other than you just have a daily limit. So, I mean, it's the same checking account I've had since I was 16.
What would be the point of having a spending limit? I guess just fraud. Is that the only reason you would have a spending limit?
I had the same account when I was like 16. So maybe it's something where, like, if your parents don't want you spending over a certain amount, and then like the default is just so absurdly high that it's never going to matter to a 16-year-old.
Hey, you need to call them and tell them I'm moving my money. I mean, if you got money in there, they cannot withhold your money. Period. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, look, Dad's over here about to start.
Dealt with it. It's done. But like, I don't know.
I was trying to think of only reasons you would have. The only reason I can see where you'd want a spending meat is like when, like, Charles Barkley mentioned that he can't be. He has to lock up his card around meats. Around. So maybe I could see. Maybe you're just trying to save yourself from you. But for the most part, if I got the money, hell, let me go spend it.
That has to be a fraud watch, and I'm telling you, that's like because if you're going to Hawaii, for instance, sometimes you call your card company and say, "Hey, I'm going to Hawaii, and so I'm going to be there, and I need my card. You can't stop my card. I'm going to need it." So,
speaking of Hawaii, and I don't want to make a joke about Hawaii because I hope everyone. I haven't seen any reported deaths about the volcanoes going on there.
Yeah,
at Mount Kilauea, and it's just
on the Big Island. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one of the reports people are evacuating due to lava entering homes, and I thought flooding has got to be awful. Like, you remember when it flooded at Little River, Dad? But lava entering your home?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, once the lava gets in, that house is burning down. That house is
like flooding might ruin the carpet or ruin some things, but lava's lava. I mean, there's some of the videos of lava spewing up and stuff.
Coming through the roads.
That would be so scary.
Yeah.
Dad, do you have a worst of the week?
Now that we've one-upped
it. Well, this will be kind of simple, but I've got a little joke to tell with it too. But so worst was my golf game. It kind of stunk this weekend. I mean, I was playing with my buddies and I have to say I was struggling. But so the line of the weekend. So, David and Patrick are playing with us and they're both pretty long ball hitters. And I think it was David hit a monster shot, just a monster drive. And Bob Edstrom, who it was his birthday, he had just turned 67, actually. So, he didn't hit it that far, but he got up, he saw that ball that David, he goes, "Wow, I hit one like that once, and I woke up and the bed was wet." That was the line of the week.
That was drop the mic. He dropped the mic out there.
Yeah, that was it. We all just died. That's a pretty good one. So
you're saying your game wasn't all that impressive this weekend?
That'd be the nicest thing you could say about it, that it wasn't all that impressive. Yeah.
Well, we won't belinger too long on that. We'll go away from it. Recently, I've moved in the past 2 months, and I also moved like a year and a half ago or so, and I realized you one thing that's underrated and you take for granted is if you have a good barber or someone that cuts your hair, and you have a consistent person. Like, Dad, I think you've had the same person that cut your hair longer than I've been alive, haven't you?
I bet we're going on 20 years.
Carmeline's been keeping you cut up for...
Carmelie has been cutting my hair for probably 20 years, yeah.
And I'm sure LJ doesn't worry too often about his barber.
I've had the same barber for probably 20 years also.
Because he hadn't cut his hair in 20 years, but... It's one of those things you don't think about. And then I remember when I moved to Fayetteville, I thought, oh, wow, who's going to cut my hair? And I had long hair for a little while. So I'm like LJ, it didn't matter all that much. You just straighten it up a little bit. But when I started going short hair, you kind of want specific. And I don't really know. When I moved to Fayetteville, there was this really cool place, and it was called the Crown. They played music the whole time, and actually one of the guys offered me a beer one time. They said they had a little fridge with some Busch Light in it, and they offered me some Busch, and it was just 3 guys, and they
that's a kind offer.
Yeah. Well, it made me, when I saw those guys, it made me think, man, I wish I would have got into being a barber, because they make up their own hours. They shut down, like they quit taking appointments after. They said they make it to where they don't stay later than 5. So after about 3, if they have a bunch, and they just quit taking appointments because they're leaving at 5 regardless. And they cut hair, listen to music, jack around, shoot the shit. And it just seemed like really cool. But I thought about it once I got here. So I found that barber, and then I got here and I was like, wow, I don't know where to cut my hair. And I went to this little Super Clips or Sports Clips, just a generic place. And I didn't, they screwed up. And it's partly my fault because they asked me what I want, and I don't really know I'm terrible at explaining it. I'm like, something here. And then they asked me, do I want it tapered or boxed on the back? I don't even know what that means. I say tapered. I don't know what tapered means. I have no clue. I don't know if y'all do.
Well, tapered would be, tapered would be like the same length threaded down. So it's box would be, it would your hair would go to right here and it'd be boxed. I mean, that's good for radio land, but,
yeah, good radio.
Good point.
Tapered is what you want, I think.
I usually say tapered, but I sometimes switch it up because I really have no idea. And I always think when they ask, I'm like, when I leave, I should go look in the mirror and see what that looks like. I always forget. And then they ask me again the next time. They're like, do you want this tapered or boxed? And I'm like, let's go tapered this time. Why not? And so I just kind of pick one. But it started getting me thinking, when you go to get a haircut, I know sports clips they have the TVs. They started the new thing where they put up a bunch of TVs and they show like Sports Center or the game where you can watch stuff. But you still get, and I've had this conversation with Lane before, you still get where someone cutting your hair tries to, oh man, did you see that shot? Or did you see that play? And really, you can tell, you try to say something, you can tell they have no idea what they're talking about. They're just trying to start conversation, small talk. And I think I'm among the fan of, I'm okay with you just cutting my hair. I won't say any word. Yeah. You don't have to say a word. Let's just do it. You don't have to force small. If we talk, it's cool. But I hate force small talk.
But just be good at your job's the only important thing about this interaction.
Yeah, I'll just try not to move. I'll try not to ruin or screw up what you're doing. And if you could just make me look less of an idiot than I already do, like there's no reason to add to it.
As good as you can do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need you to add to it by accidentally missing a cut while you're talking about the football game. You don't know what you're mentioning, Well,
I don't know. Carmelie talks to, but we've actually become friends. We become friends because we've seen each other for so long. But I'm also friends. Here's the other one, my dental hygienist. I'm also friends with my dental hygienist because she's been cleaning my teeth for a long time. But sometimes she'll want to have a conversation. And when there's sharp instruments in your mouth, it's not easy.
Not pleasant.
Yeah. So,
well, it just so I went to this new place and another thing that they don't do at barbershops, they don't tell you the price until afterward. And they did a good job cutting my hair, but afterward it ended up costing $40 to get my hair cut. I was like, whoa, I was expecting, $20, $25. Now I'd probably tip. And it was like $38. And then I still, because you tip a barber, right? I always tip a barber.
$40 haircut? Was that the only thing that went on in there?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like something else.
Yeah. It just, they just cut my hair. Well, and so it was this place called Prime Time.
What was she wearing, Kevin?
They were doing a lot more. They were doing like,
it was that guy from the gym.
They were
giving it to clean up in an outfit later too, but.
Was he cutting it in his?
They specialize in they design hair, so like they'll put like I saw some guys in there getting designs in this. Like they would get a fade and they would design like a little thing in the side of their head or something. I didn't do that. I know I thought about maybe getting like a star in the side of my head, but I decided not to.
Good choice.
But I think that's why they did a good job. Like they really trimmed. They did like the best fade I've probably ever had. It just if I'd known it was going to cost that much, that was like double the price of sports clips goes, where I'm going to have to endure through a terrible small talk conversation. But
I know probably LJ's not going to help here much. He's not really into going to the haircutting place often, but it's okay. It is okay to ask what the cost is for a haircut before you sit down. I mean, that's totally fine.
Well, I just walked in and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And they said, "How's it going?" And they asked what I think they asked if I had an appointment. I was like, "No, this is the first time here. I was just going to see if there was a wait or if I need to schedule an appointment." Like, actually, we can get you with, I forget her name. We can get you with this person now. And I was like, oh, okay. Sat down. And the first question she asked is, what would you like me to do with your hair? And so I start telling her, and all of a sudden I'm getting my hair cut. And then I thought, I don't even know how much this place costs. And I figured out how much it cost afterward. It was quite a bit.
Yeah. Kind of like, look, you had sucker written on your forehead when you walked in. Are you going back? Well,
I don't know. Cause that gets me to my next point was they did have some fire playing. They were playing some good 2000s R&B. Usher was playing through, and some Akon came through. Some Elliot Yamin was playing. It was all I had not to just start singing, which then would totally screw up what she was doing because I wanted to get into the song because they were some good music. But that is much better. I know sports clips did great, and a lot of people like the TVs, but I'd much rather go to a haircutting place where it's just good music playing. Screw the TV because you get moved around so much while they're cutting your hair.
Yeah.
I just want them to play good music. At one point, I just closed my eyes and was just jamming while they were cutting my hair. It was great.
Yeah. That's the way to be.
And that's why I was like, man, I would love, like, what if we could open up like three guys barbershop or something. We just get to play music all day long. We have to first be good at cutting hair because I don't think people will come to us.
Yeah. And then the second thing is don't put me in the logo.
But we just cut all that. Like you're creating art in a sense. I mean, if you're really good at it, they're creating art and they probably enjoy doing that. And then you're just jamming. I mean, we were jamming. They had the music up quiet. That's why I did like it. They had the music kind of loud and we were just I was singing to Confessions.
What does one tip on a $40 haircut then?
It was $38. It was $39 and change or something. And I gave $45. Is that right? More or less?
So yeah, wait, let's see. 15% would be $380 plus half of
Think about her hourly wage. My gosh.
That's a high dollar haircut. See, I'm telling you, I wouldn't go pay that much for a haircut. That's
no, back at home.
Well, it was too late.
Back at home. Yeah,
I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do it again.
Well, yeah, she said the price and I'd already got my haircut. I couldn't go, whoop, that is out of my price range. Sorry.
See you later.
Renegotiate here. I just got my card like, well, because I brought cash because I was gonna just pay with cash, and she said that, and I was like, wow, do you take card? Because I didn't bring that much cash. I just assumed 30 would cover this haircut, and I assumed wrong.
I'm just saying a $40 haircut. You
think there should have been a little something extra at that haircut?
Yeah, you missed some service that they provide you did not get. I don't know what it is, but or you're not telling us about it. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, after we get done recording, I'll tell you what went on after the haircut. But
we'll try to keep this as a family show. So
anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So I don't know. Did y'all get to watch any of? Well, I was going to say the playoffs, but just what Mr. James is doing over in Cleveland. He is now he's new president of Canada. He owns Toronto and the entire province of Canada. I mean,
Did he talk to Drake about it first, or?
Well, Drake was there.
Yeah, he got into it with Kendrick Perkins about something.
Of all people you're going to get into it with, I think Kendrick Perkins may be the worst person to get into it with.
He'd be the last one on my list. He's big and kind of mean.
I don't know if he is mean, but he sure looks mean. And he's Drake's, I don't know what Drake is. He's probably 5'8", 200 pounds. Kendrick Perkins is about 6'10", 270. And he's mean. And he's and also he has nothing to lose. Like, at least if you're going to get into it with LeBron or J.R. Smith or one of them, they can't do anything because if they get suspended, they matter. Kendrick Perkins wears a suit. He got signed 2 days before the playoffs. I think just because he's friends with LeBron. He has nothing to lose if he gets suspended, so he might beat you into a pulp. And Drake was over there like cussing at him and saying that shit ain't going to fly here. And he was really brave once the security got in between him and Kendrick Perkins and were moving them away. He started talking a lot louder. But it's just, I'm with you, Dad. That's the one person on the court I think I would actually steer away from is Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, me too.
I was going to bring up, so LeBron is hitting game winners. He's in the past 7 days, he's hit 2 game winners, won a game 7, and scored 40 plus points, I think, in 3 out of 4 games or something like. I mean, just unbelievable what he's doing. And I'll get on that in just a second, but I wanted to talk about celebrity fans. I think the GOAT of celebrity fans is probably, who is it? I was going to say Spike Lee. Probably Spike Lee. Maybe who's the one that's always at LA? Is it Jack Nicholson?
Nicholson, yeah.
He's not as animated as Spike Lee, but he's a staple of the Lakers games.
When you said GOAT, though, I was talking
for 30 about it.
I was thinking not greatest of all time. I was thinking when Reggie Miller, when he just was dogging Reggie Miller, and Reggie Miller kept hitting threes and beat him and beat the New York
the Knicks.
Knickerbockers.
And that's what one of the best all time moments. I wish the 30-30 is great, but when Reggie Miller grabs his neck and his nuts over and looks at Spike Lee, there's nothing better than that right there. But what if he would have just walked over and licked him? Well, that'd have been weird. I don't know. That probably
he did not grab his jewels, does he?
The camera doesn't show it. He puts he goes 2 hands to the throat, and then the other hand leaves all one says on his throat, and he grabs his jewels. And says,
all right, Kevin, you got to find that link for the show notes.
All right, the camera. I'll pull up what we do have, but it's hard for Drake to be this super Toronto fan because he's like he's guys like Kevin Hart, who was he was at Philadelphia and they lost game 1 in a crushing game because the Sixers blew the lead and he left in the halfway through the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, courtside at all these games. At least Spike was courtside when they sucked and when they were barking up good. A Kendrick Perkins tree, which for 47, 13, and 8. Because you got into it with some of the players. And all game it keeps peering over to you, or just the whole game sucking because LeBron owns you.
I just think they both look ridiculous. They're just wanting to draw attention to themselves. I don't know. Okay, here I'm gonna take a left turn because I cannot believe that Boston is up 3-0 in that series. I cannot believe that Cleveland is up 3-0 in their series. I just can't believe it. I'm not trying to get off your celebrities, but I cannot believe the way those series are going. I just can't.
Well, I think we should move on from the celebrities anyway. It wasn't going anywhere. I think you're correct. But I'm totally with you. The game, I wasn't that shocked to see the Sixers lose 1, even 2 maybe in Boston, because a team that young going to Boston, which even what Brad Stevens is doing, I will say this, what Brad Stevens is doing with Boston, I don't think there's any argument. He is the best coach in the NBA. And honestly, I know Pop's probably the biggest argument to best coach in the NBA, but Pop's never done to me what Brad Stevens is doing with the group of guys he's doing in Boston right now is unbelievable. He's doing it with his star player is Al Horford, whose nickname is Average Al. And then his other 3 best players are Jason Tatum, who's a rookie, Terry Rozier, who's a second-year guy, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart just now came back. He's probably their other best player. It's just, and they're up, like you said, Dad, 3-0 against the team we were all calling probably the favorite to make it out of the East a week ago.
Well, but we know Jason Tatum, right? Because Gordon Hayward got hurt. This would be Gordon Hayward's minutes, right?
Jason Tatum would be coming off the bench for 15 minutes a game, and now he's their star. And Jaylen Brown, who's a second-year player, looks like a stud. I mean, all these guys are just they're getting thrust into these roles, and I think it's because Brad Stevens is so good at putting guys in the position to succeed that these guys are thriving.
What happens next year? What happens next year when you got Kyrie and Gordon Hayward back? I mean, because you can't cut minutes from Jason Tatum.
I don't know. And Terry Rozier, if he keeps playing this, it's hard to cut minutes from him. He's averaging 25 a game. I know you want Kyrie over Rozier, but I'm just saying it's an embarrassment of riches when and if Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward can come back healthy next year, because this team is they have a chance to make the finals without 2 top 10, top 15 players in the NBA not even playing any minutes whatsoever. Right. It's wild. And I will say the Philadelphia looked young. I don't know if you saw game 3. I didn't. They came out. Ben Simmons had an all-time blunder in game 2. 1 point, didn't make a single field goal.
Wow.
It was as bad a game as Ben Simmons has probably ever played in his life. And then he came out game 3, and as you would think, a young team coming back home down 0-2. They came out real hot, played really good. But then at the end, they just kind of melted down. They had like 3 turnovers late. Ben Simmons even had a play where he got a rebound. When they were up 1, he got an offensive rebound with like 16 seconds left, and he put it back real quick. When really just dribble it out. But I think Ben Simmons didn't want to get fouled because he's a bad free throw shooter. He's like 50%. So he thought, I'll try to get this quick put back up. And he ends up, instead of wasting more time and getting fouled, he shoots this put back, misses it, and Boston goes on to win that game. But they look young, and it looks like Brad Stevens is undressing Brett Brown in the coaching realm. I mean, he's just killing him. And I'm with you, Dad. I'm shocked to see them up 3-0, and they're probably going to go on to the finals.
Well, and just Cleveland has they're going to beat Toronto. I really thought Toronto was going to win that series, and I mean, they're down 3-0, right?
It's crazy. And it's funny. It's getting harder and harder for the people that try to champion the LeBron's overrated or just LeBron haters. Like Skip Bayless leads that crew. This is a different Toronto. They changed up their coaching philosophy. Here we go again. He's now beaten the Raptors 7 straight times in the playoffs. I feel like I think this is what's changing his game. Is he's like, give me the ball, Jordan mentality that people want from LeBron. funny to me, kind of to show that really highlighted LeBron, what he's doing right now in the playoffs. Did anything happen in the playoffs? And I was like, well, Cleveland won. LeBron scored like 40. Now he's going to probably hit like 40. He's got the Raptors beat. They'll probably sweep the Raptors, you would think. And then they're playing the Celtics. And there's no way he beats the Warriors in the finals.
But the only thing left in the NBA is to see the Houston Golden State series.
Agreed.
That's the series. And then after that, it's just enjoy the great basketball that Golden State will beat whoever is put up in front of them, or Houston perhaps. But I think Golden State.
I agree. That's the series. I kind of wish, and I'm guilty of this too. I kind of wish we would quit doing the where's LeBron stand all time after every game, and let's just appreciate his success right now against the Raptors. And they mentioned Dwayne Casey, who's the head coach of the Raptors, and they talked about in 2011 when he basically drew up the defense that really shut down LeBron in that finals. I don't know if it was as much the defense. I think the defense. And they asked him, is it nice to be having the success he marked in his career? And his words were like, who I am today after watching that film and realizing how they got me out of my game. Not only does he realize that I am head and shoulders like bigger, faster, stronger, and he's not doing that anymore. And it's just night in, night out. He's reached a point where you drop your jaw and go, my goodness. The argument's kind of let's wait until his career's over, and then LeBron, if you want to have them, because I just don't see any way that he beats them. But I just think the conversation. Let's just watch the basketball. Let's just enjoy the game.
Just watch the basketball. Agreed.
All right. Well, let's move on to a little. I wanted to ask y'all, do y'all want to get onto the Charles Barkley, Draymond Green stuff at all, or no?
Don't care.
I don't know. We've been doing a lot of basketball.
Yeah, let's just move.
I've been just looking up Childish Gambino's tour.
I was going to say, LG's not even involved. So, you've been talking a lot, Kev. We probably need to get off basketball a little bit,
Gambino's going to be in Chicago in September, so.
Moving on, I'll take a step down off my soapbox now. And I wanted to get to, LJ, a video. Actually, you sent it to me, but I actually got sent it to me by one of my buddies and one of the listeners, Labat. He sent this to me this week and said that it was funny because his caption was literally, he was like, is this what LJ was talking about? Because in the video, it's the video, for those who don't know, we'll post it. It's about just the sounds you hear when you're watching a sporting event and how you hear the crowd, but sometimes you don't hear the PA as much, or you hear the quarterback's cadence, or you hear a basketball swish, and just the different sounds. And the guy in the video says, if you notice us, then we're not doing a very good job. You don't want to notice us. Mm-hmm. And Labat said, sounds like exactly what LJ was saying when he does sound designing. And sure enough, LJ himself finds that same video and had no idea that I watched that and that he referenced you. And you sent me that video. Just like, this is really cool. So I just thought it was funny that Labat was spot on when he was like, is this what LJ's talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's those people, you call them A1s, and
yeah, just explain what they are. Can you explain what they are real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So anything that comes through a speaker while you're watching a sporting event, besides the commercials, is handled by usually one person sitting at a board and then a whole bunch of people holding microphones and stuff like that. But the person with the final control over what you hear is one person sitting in front of a board with, 80 faders or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, their job is to try to get the microphone with the action playing while not getting too much excess noise and giving you the best possible experience by watching the game that you can have. And, so that when you think about what they're doing, then they're not doing their job well enough. If you're like ever thinking like, oh man, this is too loud or whatever, like that's exactly what I was talking about when I was saying that.
Well, and what's really cool, Dad, I don't know if you watched the video, but one thing they mentioned that was a big issue for them. So in the NFL, guys, the umpire the middle ref would stand right above, like kind of where a middle linebacker stands. And so they would have a mic on his shirt and he would pick up the quarterback's cadence, because it is kind of cool to hear, Cleopatra or Omaha, like the random things they say before the snap. And then the ref kept getting hit and run into. So the NFL moved the ref behind the quarterback. Well, now the sound guy's like, well, that does mean nothing to mic him anymore.
Yep.
Because now he gets nothing.
Just lost the cool thing I had.
And that's the cool thing. And now even more so than ever, like with Peyton Manning's Omaha, everybody's listening to the quarterbacks. And so they had to figure out a new thing. So now they mic up It said they mic up an offensive lineman, right, El?
Yep, they mic up a couple of offensive linemen. The NFL approved. You could do like.
Would it just be like behind their helmet or behind their jersey or something? Or
it would probably be on the front just in case you ever want to do there because they're usually like an omnidirectional mic, and so the fact that they're close enough to the front end of the quarterback, it should be enough to pick it up. But that was one of my favorite parts of the video is just how creative they had to get the sounds they want. Like when they were talking about like for the World Series, they actually sew microphones under the turf so they can pick up like all of the sounds around the field. And the other thing that they
have like microphones like on the wall to where they can hear if a guy runs into it or on the foul pole line. I mean, just everywhere. You don't think about that. And then everywhere.
My favorite part of the video was actually like when they were talking about they have like 6 mics around the top of the rink in hockey. And what they're doing is they're following the action from microphone to microphone. So you're not hearing the stuff happening with the goalie back here that doesn't matter right now. But you're following the action with the
that dude is on edge watching the game nonstop. Like,
nonstop, yeah.
That's got to be hard to work that soundboard. It's got to be huge.
I do that job for theater a ton. Their job is so much harder than mine. That is probably the hardest A1 job you can possibly have. It's incredible. And
just to show you how much one of the things that got this start, they mentioned on the video of the mics they would put on rims of basketball goals to get the swish sound. Because if you're at the game, and you know this, Dad, like because we talked about it before, and it's cool. When you're at the game, you don't hear that swish or brick because that's not that loud. But when it's mic'd up, you hear it at home, and you don't think it adds something. But it was funny how that actually came about. Was Mark Cuban when he first got into the NBA? He was this young, hotshot, rich guy, and one of his brilliant ideas. A lot of the owners didn't like him because this young hotshot comes in and has all these bright ideas, and one of them was, I think we should mic up the rim. So we get that swish so we can put that. And so when we watch TV to make our game more viewable. And a lot of guys thought that's dumb. And they tried it one time and people loved it. And now every shot you see, you hear the brick, you hear the swish, sometimes you can hear a guy. It's the funniest thing to me is when you hear after a guy gets fouled or something, you hear like him shout out a cuss word or something. It's one of those you can't quite bleep all of them out.
Well, that's one of the things they talked about in the video, too, is they have to kind of be on top of it and try to get mics down in time to make sure that they're not going to get fined by the FCC later. So that's another hard
like
part.
He said, like when they do the mic'd up.
Yeah. Predicting who's going to.
When they do the mic'd up, he said, we never do a live mic'd up because you never know what someone's going to say. But that one is hitting bricks and misses, so it's kind of live.
But they've got the parabolic mics, and so maybe they're pointing out, whoever player shoots up a brick. Yeah. And you got to make sure if you know this player has a foul mouth, you pull it down a little bit so you're not catching that.
I will say the worst at, and you'll know the player I'm referring to. The worst about this, I remember watching, and I finally realized what they were doing. When I watched Piston games back in the day, I was younger. The sound would stop; it would completely go away for like 3 seconds or 2 seconds, and I was wondering why it kept doing that. It's because Rasheed Wallace cusses like a sailor. I mean, every time he's around here, you hear. I'm not going to say the words. He would drop F-bombs around the rim. And that's what they're doing probably, El. They have like a little delay, and so they can just kill all the mics right there because they heard an F-bomb get dropped. And it was hilarious. Pistons game would have about 5 a game where you would just hear it cut out for 3 seconds because he's dropping F-bombs.
The mic at the net was Cuban's idea?
Yeah, he's the one who brought it to the NBA.
It was probably an A1's idea. It was probably somebody said, hey, we can do this. And he was like, oh, that would add so much. But
Cuban was the voice that got to the commissioners. And he pushed it. I'm sure he didn't come up with it, but.
One, it's awesome.
That's kind of,
if you think about it too.
That's kind of his genius is he hears good ideas and because there's tons of people come up with good ideas, but if me or you or LJ come up with a good idea, Adam Silver's never going to hear it. But you tell someone, it goes up the food chain, and Cuban's good enough to realize that is a good idea. Yeah. LJ came up with something smart that needs to get told to someone.
Right. I'm going to use that in the end, by the way.
You're going to use the soundbite of LJ's really smart. Well, okay, that got me to something else. We were talking about sounds. What are some just random sounds that are just really cool? The first one that comes to me is the sound of a swish. When basketball, when you hear a swish, it's the feeling too. If you ever, I haven't felt it in a while, but if you're shooting yourself and you hear and see that, it's just a beautiful sound. Mm-hmm. And then a beer popping open or something where that crack where it's like,
yep, that's a good one.
You kind of you can almost hear it fizz a little too afterward.
Yeah. My favorite sound
what do you got, El?
My favorite sound of all time it's a series of sounds. It's Zippo, flip open, light, fire. I love that sound. Those 3 sounds going boom, boom, boom. Oh man, so good.
Yeah,
Yep.
That is cool. Yeah. Well, and another one is like, well, speaking of fire, like a fire cracking when you're out at like a campfire or something. That's a cool sound.
Yeah, the popping fire.
When you're speaking of, we mentioned beer. When you pour like a good beer, and it's part of the when you pour it perfectly and the foam's coming over the brim of your cup, but it's not spewing over. It's just higher, and you can hear it like foaming. That's a cool sound.
Did you know? Fun fact, just real quick, that if you're pouring hot liquid or pouring cold liquid into like a ceramic mug, or probably any cup, really, you can tell the difference in temperature by listening.
Really? It's more or less?
Yeah, you can tell which one's hotter just by listening. And I'll put both of them in the show and then like put the answer in the show notes so everybody can play at home if they want to. But
okay.
Yeah, you can totally hear the difference between hot and cold liquid being poured.
You know, another sound that's oddly kind of nice is, and I haven't done this in a while, one, because I have tile floor, but also I can't tell you the last time I vacuumed anything. But when a vacuum's picking up like crumbs, when it's really picking something up, for some reason I like that sound a lot. I don't know if that's because you really feel like you're actually cleaning, but it's something you brought up, LJ, is the sounds associated with things. It's not a beer can's cool as a sound, but it's also, you're getting, it's been a hot day and you're getting a cold beer or something, right?
Yeah, I think there's 2 types of sounds. There's the sounds that are always, 2 types of cool sounds. There's a lot of types of sounds.
There's a lot of sounds out there.
That's my job, so I hope so. They're the sounds that are just awesome regardless of context. Like, I think a can opening is just an awesome sound. Like, you don't have to ever get that beer or that soda to feel like that was a cool sound. But there are then also conditional sounds that, like, if in some contexts, yes, this is an amazing sound, and in other contexts, this is not an amazing sound. It's not even a good sound oftentimes. The example that I think of is like rain is one of my favorite sounds. Like, I love listening to like a good thunderstorm. You just like, you pop open a window just slightly so it doesn't get wet in the house, and you just like read a book or whatever. It's like, you don't leave your PJs, you cook bacon and eggs.
So it's almost not, the rain itself is a good sound, but also that signifies I'm staying in. I'm just going to sit here in my sweats and cook some bacon and eggs.
Because you know what sounds terrible?
What?
Is a thunderstorm Monday at about 6 a.m.
Right.
When you're about to have to get out in it.
Yeah,
about to get out in
it can be the same storm, but you're getting wet. You're not going to have a good morning. Well,
it's also,
some sounds are totally great conditional.
It's also funny, and it's I know music does this, where you hear a song and it can take you straight back to a memory. Sounds can do this too, and actually advertisers have noticed this, and they use it where sounds can spark senses. And so, like, if you go to movie theaters, you'll hear them. They do the popping. There's a commercial where it's just like popping popcorn and a Coke pouring into a glass, and you hear it pouring like over the ice, and you hear it fizzing. And that sound instantly, you can't help it. At least for me, it makes me want to go put my hand in a big bucket of popcorn and get a handful, and then wash it down with a good cold Coke. I mean, and it's that thought of, not only is the sound cool, but it's also like, I can taste a good buttered up popcorn,
Well, and Coke is really good at marketing too, because they'll use that sound a lot. They'll also use the bottle opening or the can opening a lot.
Yeah.
So then every time you hear somebody open a can from a different room, your brain's going to think Coke first if you've seen enough of those commercials. It's genius. Using sound to market is
when I hear a bottle cap
like that comes up a lot.
Especially, and I think we might have used it in one of as a segue in our podcast, where I've heard it before, but like a bottle opening, and then you hear like and then you can kind of actually hear afterward like the cap dropping. My instant thought is a Coca-Cola Classic in a glass bottle, and that's just advertising. That's just them marketing well.
Something I was thinking about with this topic in mind is I can't think of like maybe 3 sounds that are bad for everybody, like sounds that everybody hates.
Can you name?
There's
What's
only
one?
A handful of those.
What's one? I just
nails on a chalkboard.
Okay,
is the only one I can really think of.
I know one. I can't think of anything. I know
else.
One that it definitely would affect you. It's like when you're cutting a steak or something on a plate, that knife on a plate.
Yeah,
don't you
I hate that one. But that doesn't bother a lot of people, though.
I don't like that.
Hannah doesn't mind that at all. She just doesn't care.
Really?
But she hates if you scratch cotton.
Like scratching your t-shirt?
Yep.
Speaking of that, there's two sounds that are weird to me is someone itching. Like if someone's really itching and you can hear them like really getting after it. Or if someone, I've seen people do this where they'll do this with their ear. And like they don't put their finger in there. They're putting on their earlobe and like they're pushing it out and you can like hear it going. I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's just, to me, that's kind of gross. I don't know why, but you're right. There's not a whole lot of sounds that are universally just hated by all. Besides, chalkboard's probably the only one that you mentioned it, so I didn't think of it.
And that's even, I don't even know if that one is, that's just kind of like a TV trope that like Jaws or somebody started. And now it's just something that we all.
Oh, yeah. No, it's bugging me. Y'all talking about it. Stop. It's, I can't stand it.
But I think there are universally good sounds that everybody likes, but I just can't think of any universally bad sounds.
What's really been bugging you, LJ? The question that can't be answered.
Hannah and I have been in about a 4-week fight over this. What color is a tennis ball?
Dad?
Mostly green.
What? It's yellow.
I really thought Dad would be right on this.
I mean, I think they're more green. There's one hanging in my garage. It's green.
They've got like a little greenish tint to them sometimes, but they're. If I'm drawing a cartoon, right, and I'm drawing like somebody playing football, I'm going to draw a brown football. If I'm drawing somebody playing basketball, I'm going to draw an orange basketball. If I draw a tennis ball, that ball's yellow, straight up.
Yeah. What crayon are you getting out to color that tennis ball, Dad? Are you getting a green one out?
That is green.
Well, I cannot see your screen.
First off, bad radio. Everybody's showing us a computer screen.
We can't even see your screen.
Not only is it bad for the listeners, but it's all we see is a lit up screen. It's white. We just see a white screen. So it's just bad all around.
No, so
a tennis ball is yellow.
A tennis ball is green. Tammy, I got to ask Tammy. She used to play tennis. She's a tennis player.
Well,
Dad, you're drawing a picture right now.
That doesn't necessarily mean someone's right if they've played tennis.
You're drawing a picture, Dad, and you've got your 8 crayon set. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So which color do you use to fill in the tennis ball? The yellow or the green?
Like a greenish yellow.
You have 8 colors. There's a green or a yellow. What are you using?
Well, what color is my green? Is it like hunter green?
It's green. A green and you have yellow.
It's the crayon that's labeled
here's the deal.
Green.
It's not greenish yellow or neon green or
whatever, dude. So it's chartreuse is the color of a tennis ball then, because there's hunter green.
Is that an actual color or did you just make that up? Because I honestly have no idea.
Chartreuse.
I thought chartreuse was like a purplish.
You've never heard of the color chartreuse?
That sounds like a made up word to me.
No, it's a real word.
Chartreuse is yellow green.
Let me see.
A tennis ball it's yellow, Dad.
It's definitely yellow.
Some have a greenish tint, but it's yellow. Is it yellow?
Okay, so chartreuse is green.
He's going to get.
He's correct about this.
He's correct about
Come here.
Chartreuse is a yellow green. I will tell you one thing for sure. Chartreuse is not in your 8-pack of colors in your crayon box.
Yeah, that is a fact. You have red,
Neither
yellow,
is tennis
green.
ball yellow.
But yellow and green are. So which one would you choose? Which one would you choose? Yellow or green?
I mean, if I have only 9 colors, what color is a tennis ball?
Like neon yellow.
Oh,
she said neon yellow. She said neon yellow.
But yellow. What did she say? Yellow. Thank you, Tammy.
I said they're green.
Tammy can't hear me, but thank you. You're correct.
Not.
Yes.
Tammy says they're not green.
Yeah.
So.
They're not green. Trust me, we picked it up. We picked it up in the audio. So
okay.
Tell Tammy she is thanked by all the other people that are right on this conversation.
I will tell you though.
Apparently I'm wrong, Tammy.
More people I've talked to have said green than yellow though. So
really?
Yeah, I mean I've talked to like 4 people about this.
So Dad, that just means there's other people that are wrong with you. That doesn't make you more or less right here.
You know, if you continually think everybody's wrong, you need to look at you. Maybe it's you.
We're not. No, we aren't thinking everyone's wrong. We're thinking you're wrong.
I know you're thinking I'm wrong, but I'm looking at a green tennis ball right here.
That is not green. That is so yellow.
Yes, this is going to be in the show. Do not edit that out. Well,
You literally.
By the way, Can I throw out something about chartreuse?
Yes, you can throw out something about your chartreuse.
It's a yellow color mixed with a small amount of green that was named because of its resemblance to the color of one of the French liqueurs called yellow chartreuse.
So and Dad, you think the tennis ball is yellow color? You think?
I would say tennis balls are chartreuse color, yeah.
Which is a yellow color, according to color theory.
Now, I will say where it's describing it, it does call it a fluorescent yellow.
What did I say?
Okay, good enough. Next.
We're going to start doing this, guys. This will be our poll question, and it'll be on the site. We'll put it on our Facebook and on the site. Go answer a question. Let's see if there's anyone out there that's in make-believe land like Dad and believes that it's green.
Hey, we want to know the truth. We're not going to make fun of you. If the poll says green, I'll say green. That's the way I feel about it.
Do not believe them, guys. They said they wouldn't make fun of you, and that's all they did for like 5 minutes right there is make fun of me because I said that tennis balls are green. So don't believe them.
No, I'm saying we will honor the poll. Give us your opinions. I want to know.
So you said the poll right now would be what, LJ? You said several people. I think you said more have said green.
Yeah, well, in my experience, we're talking about
So the poll right now is green. Is that right?
That's we're like saying what he can remember off the top of his head. Yes. We're actually going to get it written down, pen and paper.
Yep. We're going to take an honest to God scientific poll on jpp.com.
Okay.
Because we're scientists. As you know, LJ's a scientist. So
okay. Yeah.
Double blind.
We'll find out. Okay, good.
And well, you know what? We will change. Me and LJ will, if the listeners say it's green, then let it be said and let it be done. Tennis ball will be green.
I'll happily get a tennis ball green t-shirt to wear around. Says green right on it.
All right, Dad. Isn't there a word that's really been kind of tickling your fancy here lately that you kind of want to talk about?
Well, I mean, it's a word I've really never known what it was, and
I thought you accidentally just dropped something on your keyboard when you spelled it out in the email earlier. I didn't think that was an actual word.
So the word is ombudsman, and
ombudsman.
Ombudsman.
Okay, all right.
Ombudsman. It's not like you seen that commercial where they're talking about almonds. Almonds? No, they're almonds. I think that's hilarious. But anyway.
What does it mean? Yeah.
An ombudsman is an official appointed to investigate individuals' complaints against maladministration, especially that of public authorities. I love when words make me look up another word. So maladministration is corrupt or incompetent administration. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's a person that looks into public administration that may be corrupt or incompetent.
Which is interesting that would come up nowadays.
Yeah, it seems more relevant now than ever.
I asked Andrew if he had heard of that word, and he was like, yeah, I should have gone to the one at my university. Like, apparently this is something that, I don't know, I've never heard of this before in my life, but yeah, it's like
You've
a university
never heard this word before?
No, I've never. I
love it. It's one of my new top 10s. That's a good word.
Ombudsman.
Yeah, I want that to be like my title. I want that to be in my bio, like on my Twitter bio, like Kevin.
JPP's ombudsman.
Yeah.
I don't know that
fights corruption on the show.
I mean, it's an appointed position, so you're not it's not voted.
Well, can you appoint me, or does it need to be appointed by someone
I guess you could be the ombudsman for the family, I suppose, Kevin, if you wanted to be. You could investigate.
Can I be the official ombudsman? Can I be the official ombudsman of the JPP show?
I didn't think about if competence is going to be investigated. I think maybe we don't need to have one.
Yeah, we could be in trouble. I'm not worried about corruption, but competence.
Yeah, corruption. Yeah, investigate away. We're all corrupt enough.
Here's my campaign right here. I'll go ahead and give you my quick spiel. It doesn't take but a second. I have already proven that I will try to shoot for answers, and sometimes the questions are ignorant. Like, why does the water in the cooler get colder? Why does the wick not burn? But at least I'm aiming for the right answers, and I'm just trying to fight the corrupt tennis ball is green crowd and get the right answer.
Well, I want you each to use ombudsman in a sentence next week in our podcast.
I got one for you. My name is Kevin, the official ombudsman of the Just Press Play podcast. You like apples?
Bam!
Like it.
So where did you see, like, what made you think of this word? Is this something you've been on for a while, or is it like, did it just come up recently?
No,
or?
I mean, this is a word that has just come up every now and then, and I can't remember what I was reading the other day. It was something on the fuel market or something, and it said something about an ombudsman. And I just thought, that's just one of those words I've seen a little bit here and there, and I wonder what the heck does it exactly mean? So I looked it up, and I don't know. I'm a little, awesome. It's maybe a little anticlimactic. It's not like hilarious, but we now know what an ombudsman is.
Oh, I'm totally into it.
You know what? I'm going to, at some point at work, when I'm in the newsroom, I'm going to find a way to drop that word just casually. For whatever reason, I feel like there might be an opportunity, probably sooner rather than later, to drop that word. Okay. And good. I'm just going to casually go, we need an ombudsman for. Yeah.
No, somebody does something, you're like, who's the ombudsman around here?
Do we have an ombudsman around here? Do I need to be this for us too? Do I need to be it for KFSM as well?
All right, so here's our challenge. We got to think of a rap verse and make something rhyme with ombudsman. Okay.
Is that going to be on our official our rap song when us three drop a collab?
The official JPP. We'll be like,
are we going to have our own Super Bowl shuffle? Is that
with an ombudsman? Wait a minute, ombudsman. Hooyah.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Guys, get ready. This is coming. If that doesn't get you excited, just wait till we drop a couple little samples for you. Another question that got brought up when we were all brainstorming was, Dad, you had a question that seemingly to me, I think it had an answer. What was your question? What was something you had about?
You talking about the towels? The towel question?
Yeah. The towel question.
So I mean, how it came up is so we got some new towels, and there are different quality of towels. Can we just say that right now?
Definitely. Some don't dry you at all. Some do. There's
yes. Yeah. And those ones that don't dry you at all, they suck. And I've quit using fabric softener with my towels. They will tend to not allow the towel to absorb as much water. So, by the way,
knowledge drop with Big Pop.
Do not dry your towels with fabric softener.
Well, I quit using fabric softener either, but that's awesome. Also because I'm broke and it's just one less thing I have to buy. So, but you're saying there's a logical reason
for towels only.
That's awesome.
I like it with the rest of my stuff. But so I noticed there's two different sides to towels. Typically, one's a little bit rougher, a little cragglier to me, and one's a little smoother. And the only thing that I could find is there are definitely a difference between a beach towel and a bath towel.
Most definitely.
And a beach towel is typically thinner because the main purpose of a beach towel is to provide a barrier between you and something, i.e. the sand, where a bath towel is designed specifically to absorb water. And so they make the loops, apparently, on a bath towel bigger. But they're still, I mean, every towel I use, some of them, they say the loops are the same on both sides. But I feel most towels I use are a little different side to side. One's smoother.
I've never noticed
one's a little rougher.
When you said that there were two sides to each towel, I thought you meant that there's just like like it is a flat object. So there's
there's just stating facts. There's
like that's true because I think I know where this question's going. And so two sides of the towel could be important, but no, I've never noticed a rough side and a soft side. Well, I'll have to pay more attention.
It takes a delicate. I mean, you have to
that's my problem.
You have to pay attention. But
LJ, you're not a delicate human being.
Not a delicate person, no.
Well, I will say I agree with LJ. I've never ever thought about a towel. Well, you mentioned a beach towel being different than like a bath towel, and
yes, definitely,
you're right. If you've ever had to dry, if your laundry, you've been taking way too long, and all you got is beach towels, they don't dry you off near as well as a bath towel does.
True that,
and you're right. It's because it's not for that. It's for being the barrier, and that's why those do have two sides. Though they have like the design side. And then the back that's like white usually is a little bit different, probably because that side, I guess the loops are bigger.
Cheap side, who cares? Yeah.
I don't know.
I think on the back side, they're little. I mean, you can't even dry off with the non-design side of a beach towel. You almost have to use the design side of the beach towel, right?
But so
yeah.
Are
definitely.
And maybe this is where your question's getting, and maybe this is where LJ alluded to. Are these sides of the towel that you're talking about? Is one side like the face side and one side is the ass side? of drying, or?
Well, I mean, I don't know that, but I think that one dries my hair better because the bigger loop side, the little more aggressive side, this dries my hair better. When I'm drying
I've never ever thought about it or noticed that.
And I mean, I do know. So I dry my hair with my towel, and then I dry my front, and then I dry my, my lower front, and I won't get specific, but I kind of dry
the nether region
and my legs and everything. And then what's interesting, so I've got my towel, and it's just, so I flip it around over on my back, and I'm using the other side of the towel for my back. And so I do my back, and I shimmy it down to my arse, and, I dry that and everything. And then I hang that side up. And then, so my next question is, do you reuse your towel, or is it a one-time use only?
I know a lot of people that are one-time use only people. I am on, and maybe I got this from you, but I think we're all on the same. I reuse the heck out of my towel.
I reuse my towel.
Wait, you know a lot of people that don't reuse their towels?
Yeah.
I do. I live with two of them. Yeah.
That's like finding out that there are people that walk backwards everywhere or something. I'm blown away. I didn't even know that was like a stance you could have. Like that was like, well, it's like the same type of person that never wears the same pair of shoes twice. Like it's not a real person unless they're obscenely wealthy and has somebody to do their laundry or something.
Well, you couldn't do it in my house growing up. Maybe that's why y'all don't know any different, but I wasn't going to wash a towel like every time.
You end up doing laundry every other day. I mean, towels take up a lot of room.
And you're drying a clean body, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know you're
I like to think when I shower, I like to think I'm soaping down all areas and rinsing off. Like it's as clean as I'll ever be is that moment when that towel is touching me.
So I'm having a conversation up at Little River this weekend about this very thing, about reusing towels. And this young lady's like, oh my God, no, I never reuse a towel. That's nasty. I said, do you have a scrunchie to use like body soap? And do you put it on a scrunchie? Oh, yeah, I do that. Do you reuse that? Yeah, I do that. What? I mean, you're using your scrunchie with soap and it's wiping the grime and grit off your nether regions. Everything's dirty. And I'll reuse a scrunchie.
Well, do you use
a towel?
Maybe just to play devil's advocate, do you use a scrunchie? I don't have a scrunchie, but do you use it on your face?
Yeah, I use it everywhere.
Oh, okay. Well, I was about to say maybe it's because you don't use it on your face. Well, then, yeah, that's just as bad, if not way worse than a towel. Because you're like scrubbing.
I think it's probably worse to reuse a scrunchie, but you couldn't use a different scrunchie every time, could you?
Well, you could. It'd be asinine, but you could be almost as bad as using a different towel each time. But I will say the worst thing, one of the worst ever, is when you go to take a shower and you get done and you reach for the towel and the towel is wet, but it's not wet from your shower. Mm-hmm. It's wet from someone else's shower.
Yes.
Even though like we mentioned, it's probably they were clean when they did it, but to know that, I won't mention some regions, but to know that towel was, at least at some points, that towel was on their ass. And now you might put that same point on your face. Even if it was a clean ass, it's still, I'd rather not use that towel.
No, I'll reuse my own towel. I'm not going to reuse somebody else's towel.
And you're kind of, but it puts you in a tight spot, kind of, as they say, No Brother Where Art Thou. And you don't know, like you get out, you pull the curtain back and you're soaking wet and you reach for the towel and you realize it's because it's always it's cold and wet too. If it's wet, it's cold and you're like, shoot. And if you don't have another towel in reach, you got to make a decision. Am I a caveman and walk through the house what's soaking wet and get water everywhere, or do I just freaking use this towel? Just nut up and use this.
Well, now wait, whoa. Where do you keep your spare towels?
Well, in my house now, I have a cabinet right above where right by where my dryer or shower is, so I can reach them. But before they weren't within reach at all. They weren't even in my bathroom. They were in my room in one of my spare drawers. So
when you've got one bathroom and roommates, there's not enough room for everybody's towels in there.
Yeah, true. Well, we keep the towels on the other side of the bathroom. So I have, every now and then you get in the shower and you forget to hang the towel right there by the shower and you're just soaking, dripping wet. And there's just nothing you can do but walk across the floor and water's everywhere. That's a one-use towel because then I dry off and then I got to dry the floor up.
Yeah, if you're drying the floor, then I'm okay with getting a different towel. How many uses, LG? How many uses does a towel get
before you have to wash it?
Go ahead. Y'all go first.
Personally, I don't have a set number. I just kind of, right now, actually, my last shower, I dried off this morning and I thought it's been it's been about enough. It's been about a week since I've washed this towel. I probably need to go ahead and put a new one in. But there's no number unless like maybe I'm washing and if I catch a little glimpse of, because towels can get, it depends if you have a good little towel rack and you can really dry them. Sometimes I just have like a hook, and I feel like sometimes it can get like scrunched up on that hook and you get a little mildewy spot.
Not dry just right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a terrible mildew. Like if a towel gets real mildew and you have to use that towel, that's awful. You can smell it. It sucks. Yeah. And but there will be a time where I'm dry and I kind of just get a whiff of maybe it's not super clean. I go, okay, new towel. Or if I have to dry off the floor, like Dad said.
It could be one day or it can be 6 months. It's when I get the smell is what's important. Once I
6 months, you'll use one towel for 6 months.
I'm saying I don't care. No, I don't know that I ever have. That's what I've never kept track. My point is that just once I smell that it needs to be washed, it needs to be washed.
Talking about Dad, talk about using. It'd be bad enough using a towel someone else used, but it'd be even worse using a towel LJ's been using because he's been using it for a year and it's the same one. Yeah.
Hey, but it still smells freshly washed as far as I'm concerned, or else I'm washing it.
I happened to look this up on Reddit, and I don't know why Reddit is the expert.
Reddit's a place that be careful. You can get lost in Reddit and end up.
Well, Reddit says that bath towels can be used up to 3 times. And I will tell you that I probably go about a week. I use the same towel for a week.
As our commander in tweets would say, that is fake news. I use a towel way more often than 3 times and need to. I at least probably 7. I bet I go a week before I get a new towel usually.
Well, that's interesting. I think, guys, we will be in the minority.
Yeah. Hey, how about for debut of the poll? We got 2 polls.
Do you reuse your towel?
Yeah. Do you reuse your towel? How long?
2 questions.
Yeah, 2 questions, guys. Let us know if are we nasty for using. LJ is because he uses it for a year, but. Are me and Dad also nasty?
I'm just saying, if 3 times is the right amount, then I've got to stop taking showers for a long time.
well, I think more laundry is better than less showers, LJ. So I would say, for Hannah's sake, I would say keep doing the showers.
Hi, we know what to get him for a wedding gift, Kevin.
Yeah.
So
a gift card to a laundromat.
Yeah, our towels.
Well, also, if you ever shower, use those terrible showers that you get at like a gym or it's like the cheap towels. Those don't dry. They're like worse than a beach towel. They don't dry a damn thing. They just get soaking wet. They don't do anything but just move. They move water around on your body. That's all they're doing. They're not drying you.
Through that.
There's a couple of things that you learn when you start making it a little better. Like now I buy good toilet paper. And I try to buy good towels. I mean, it's almost worth the money, because shitty towels are shitty. And you just spend the money to get a good towel and you spend the money to get that Charmin or whatever. Or Charmin, this could be you. Toilet paper.
Well, we're the official podcast of Malort. So I don't know if we can have another sponsor yet, but, if you can, which is nice. I've gotten, some hand-me-down towels. Shout out to the Smiths, Keith and Nancy. I got some hand-me-down towels from them, and I think they're in your same boat. They buy good towels, so even their hand-me-down towels were very good, like top of the line towels, at least for what I would buy.
Than dorm room towels. Yeah.
So I agree though. If you can, go ahead and get you a good towel. Yeah,
get you a good towel.
Agreed.
Yeah,
good towel, good shoes, good mattress, good toilet paper.
Well, let's go ahead and let's get how we always wrap up the show and do what we're listening to. Dad, I'll let you jump us off. Kind of interesting. I pulled up my Spotify real quick because I wanted to make sure I had the album fully right. It's an album with a long name, and I wanted to make sure I had it right. And I don't know if this is what you're going to say on the show, but it looks like your last thing you were listening to on Spotify was We Dem Boys by Wiz Khalifa. So I see Dad was jamming. I like it.
I was listening to Mo Bad Jams on the way in. This is right. But that's not what I've been listening to.
For this week, what you got, Dad? What have you been listening to?
So this week, and I think I mentioned it to you guys before, but it's Johnny Swim.
Yes.
And the song is another, but the song is different. It's Another Lonely Night in Georgia is the song. Now, the first try is the first song that I heard from him, and I'll probably put both of those on the site. First Try is a really good song, but Another Lonely Night in Georgia, and I think they're both on Georgica Pond or something. But Johnny Swim, and it's I think they're a married couple that sing, and they're kind of R&B. Very
They're
cool.
good.
Very
I mean,
cool. So,
Dad, you told me about them a little while ago, and man, there's some good music. I enjoy them.
there's some good music. So Johnny Swim's who I'm listening to. And a little Wiz Khalifa.
Oh yeah, and some Mobad jams. Always time to listen to Mobad jams.
And a little Wiz Khalifa. So.
LJ, what you got?
Well, besides the Gambino that we've been talking about that I've just listened to all day today, my week of listening has consisted more of Post Malone's new album, Beer Bongs and Bentleys. Have you listened to that yet?
Good album.
I'm surprised. I think Post Malone's good, but like, okay, I guess White Iverson's a good song, and Congratulations is okay. And then the rest of it I could never hear and be okay with that.
Really? You listened to that album and weren't that big of a fan?
Yeah, I just wasn't into it. But I listened to Beer Bongs and Bentleys and thought, like, for one, there's some really well processed songs on there, like from a sound engineer standpoint. There's also some like interesting, like he's just like a party dude generally, but like there's some interesting lyrical content. Like It's Not My Fault's a really great song.
Yeah. It's a good album. It's a really good album. I like the other one. I'm a fan of him in general.
Stoney.
More so I think than you. Yeah. But yeah, that new one is pretty good.
So the other thing I've been listening to is I made a playlist for a conversation that I think we're going to try to have very soon.
Yeah.
Is covers that define the original song. And so I've been jamming that playlist. And so if you guys want to get ahead of the game, listeners, and figure out what we might be talking about. Just to give
an idea, you mean like kind of like covers that maybe they are like when you think of this song, you think of the cover, not the original.
Right. Like when you think of Killing Me Softly, you think of the Fugees.
Right.
And you don't think of
Roberta Flack
or Lori Lieberman. When you think of Respect, you don't think of Otis Redding. You think of Aretha Franklin. This is the playlist we're talking about.
And I will say one thing,
I don't think are that way.
One thing that's cool about the playlist, if you want to check it out, I listened to it because you made it, LJ, and like you said, Killing Me Softly is what I didn't know that was a cover. I just thought that was the Fugees. But I will say, Roberta Flack, she put a number on it. That's a really good song, but the Fugees they just, have you heard it?
And this is a preview of what we might be talking about. So if you guys want to get ahead of the game on this, I'm going to put it up on the website because I think it's a really good playlist. I enjoy it quite a bit.
It is. So. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, absolutely.
So what I've been listening. I'm going to mention an album, but I also want to mention a song. I don't know if y'all have heard the song "The Middle" by Zedd. It's like a kind of a pop song right now, and it has like it says it's by Zedd. There's a girl in there too. I don't know her name, and I wish I did, but it's really catchy. I freaking love the song. Y'all should get. When I first heard it, I thought I don't like this. Is too poppy. I'm not gonna like this, but I can't quit playing it every time it comes on. If I hear it. Like the other day, I was in the gym and I heard it I had headphones on and I heard it playing in the loudspeaker and I took my headphones off and just listened to it because I just really liked the song. But the album I've been listening to, and LJ, you're the reason I know this band even, but I haven't heard it in a while and I played some Modest Mouse. Good news for people who love bad news. Man, that album was jamming.
I like Modest Mouse. Yeah.
They also have that one album, LJ. What's the one?
The Moon in Antarctica with Third Planet on it?
Yes. Okay. Song. I just know the album cover of it. I don't know.
They've been doing stuff lately too.
Really? They have some newer stuff?
Yeah, some like within the last 12 or so months, I think.
Yeah. And well, they have an album in 2015, but yeah, they have some singles they put out too. Huh. They're on tour this spring too.
Maybe a little bit. Modest Mouse, great band. Good listen.
I was sitting at work and oh wow, they are coming to Rogers, Arkansas. On July 19th, I might be going to a Modest Mouse. I might be going to a Modest Mouse concert. Yeah. That is awesome. All right. I'm just now. I need to get off. I'm just going through tour dates now. I'm like LJ was earlier. Childish Gambino. So
September 8th, Chicago. Gambino.
I got 2 concerts I have to go to. That will wrap it up for today's show. As we mentioned, you go ahead and find us on Facebook or Twitter if you haven't yet. On Facebook, we're Just Press Play Podcast, or on Twitter, we're at JPP Podcast. You can also find us on the web, of course, at justpressplaypod.com or jpppod.com, whichever one you'd rather do. They're both going to take you to the same place. We're going to post the We're going to post what we're listening to. We're going to post that playlist of covers and originals that LJ has made and he talked about. And if you want to go ahead and listen to a few of those, just to kind of have an idea what we're talking about when we get to it. And the poll questions. We got to know, we need to get a final verdict on what color a tennis ball is, and really how we know Dad's wrong. Just how wrong is Dad? Is there anyone else that actually agrees with him?
Percentage wise.
Yeah. And then how often you can reuse a towel. We need some help. And as the official ombudsman of the podcast, I need to get a verdict. So
this is your first investigation.
This is my first thorough investigation. So make sure to check it out. And as always, we love you listening. We're glad you're pressing play, and keep hitting it. Keep subscribing. Give us a rate and review. And I think that's it for me. Y'all got anything?
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.
I am a card carrying, donating Merriam-Webster.com.
Man, I didn't know where this Ric Flair rendition was going.
All right, dude. You made up for that one. You made up for that
I do. I go to Merriam-Webster.com probably at least 3 times a week. Look up some word. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Also, by the way, I give a little money. I donate every year to Wikipedia because